Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. And today I have another review for you, and that is the cheeryep Palpitation palette. It's a cute little 16 pan, kind of like yellow, pink, green color story, very springy. I actually did buy it quite a long time ago. I think it's been sitting here for like a month and a half, and obviously it took a while for me to even for it to ship here. I bought it from YesStyle, which I will link the code down below. I do have affiliate code with them, so I would be very appreciative if you would use it, but obviously no pressure. And now I'm gonna show you 2 looks with this palette, swatches, and tell you a little bit about my experience working with this palette so far. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. In case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows especially. I love everything just like fun, sparkly, and colorful. So hopefully that's what you're gonna get in this video. And now let's just jump right into it. As I mentioned, this is a 16 pan and it has 5 shimmers, 11 mattes. They're all different sizes, like you have 2 different pan sizes. And out of these 5 shimmers, 4 of them are like an iridescent soft sparkles, and then 1 is what I would categorize as satin. It doesn't really sparkle. And then the matte, I did notice that one of the mattes is like a squishy, I guess like a creamy formula. So I'm gonna have to kind of figure out how to use that one. But apart from that, all the other ones are just like regular matte. So now let me show you the swatches, so that you can see. You have, it's a pretty light color story for sure, but you have a lot of different undertones here, and a lot of different colors to choose from. Hi guys, so today we're gonna be trying this this new little palette, which I think it's called Palpitation or something like that, but I'm not 100% sure because obviously I can't speak Chinese, and it doesn't have any it doesn't have the title in English here. So this is a 16 pan palette, I believe. Yeah, it's a 16 pan palette. It has 15 grams of product, so you're getting a little bit less than a gram per each pan, but obviously each pan is slightly different size, so it's kind of hard to tell. I do love the presentation of it. It's like this sleek plastic, and yeah, it looks very cute, very nice. I actually bought this because I love the color story. It's like greens, yellows, and pinks, and also because some people said that this is a wonderful brand and wonderful like formula from cheeryep. I hope I'm pronouncing the brand right. But also I've heard people say that they don't think it's gonna be nice for me because it's not very pigmented and it's kind of sheer. So I can't wait to test it out and see how that's gonna go. I really hope it's gonna be a nice palette because it was actually rolled into my product 20 uses before I even was able to film my review with this. So I hope it's good so that I don't have to roll it out of my project. But anyways, we're gonna start with the first look. I think I'm only gonna do 2 looks with this palette because I don't think I'm gonna have more time, but I've already primed my lids with the Mega Last Primer by Wet n Wild. And now for this palette, I'm gonna start with this light pink over here. It's kind of like a pastel-y color. And I'm just gonna get like a basic blending brush. This one is from Sigma and it's the E24. It's called Diffuse Blend. And I think it's from a eye set. So, ooh, I mean, that is pigmented in my opinion. So that looks nice. Yeah, I think we're gonna be in good hands in here with this one because that is a good pigmentation. I'm always kind of worried when it comes to Chinese brands because a lot of them are not very pigmented and they're kind of made to be super sheer and just very basic, so I'm glad that this is working. And it feels nice. Like, I haven't swatched this yet, but it feels very soft and silky. Then I'm gonna use this kind of like orangey brownish shade, like pretty light one. I'm gonna use the same brush just because I'm too lazy to actually change the brush. But this one looks, oh yeah, that's a nice kind of, was like a peachy, like a little bit more orange toned peachy shade. There is a bit of kick up in the pan, so you know, just know that there might be a little bit of a mess happening in the pan, but the formula feels nice and it has a pigment so far, so I'm quite okay with that. You will probably use it up quite soon though, if the fallout will continue and you only have a little bit of product there left there anyways. You might go through this palette quite quickly. Yeah, there's a bit of kick up in the pan. Now I'm gonna take a smaller, more precise brush, which is gonna be the EO5 from Cinch Beauty, and I'm gonna use this kind of berry shade in the outer part. What I'm kind of sad about is that there's very little shimmers here, and you know that I'm mostly interested in shimmers always. Like, obviously sorry, there's a bit of lipstick here. Obviously I love matte for building up the look, but what always makes me the happiest are the shimmers. So, hello? Why is nothing happening? Okay, this one feels a lot more squishy than the other ones. The other ones are like powders, but this one, yeah, this one is squishy. It's almost like a clay, like a wet clay. And I can't really get anything on the brush, it seems like. I don't know if there's supposed to be like a cream to powder formula or what is this supposed to be like. Yeah, okay, there's a little bit of like brown happening, but that's about it. I can't really, I don't know if this is like a cream to powder formula. Let me know if you've tried this, if that's what that is, because I definitely don't remember reading anything about that, and now I'm kind of scared that there will be other shades like that. I hope they won't, because I don't really like formulas like that. So yeah, this one definitely isn't pigmented, or maybe you're supposed to use it right on the bare eye and not over eyeshadows, but you know, obviously I couldn't have known that because I don't remember ever reading a description for that. I bought this on YesStyle, and I do have a code with YesStyle, so I'll put it down below in case you wanna buy something. It is an affiliated code, and it would really help me if you would want to use it for not just makeup, but you know, skincare or whatever, because I do love shopping from YesStyle. I do have a lot of products from there. Some of them I haven't hauled yet, but I do really enjoy them. Then I'm gonna use this kind of like a beigey shade under my lids, like on the lower lash line, just to see if it has, oh yeah, that is pigmented, so that will help with my dark circles. Yeah, this has some nice pigment. Obviously it's not really gonna be a shade that I'm gonna use a lot on my lids because it is kind of just a beige shade, but it is sometimes nice for these areas that don't really, like, it doesn't really work to put a concealer there because then it just gets greasy, but the eyeshadow usually covers up quite nicely all the like discoloration and stuff. But there is a lot of fallout. I'm gonna use this kind of like grayish color. I don't really know how else to describe that. And I'm using this Sigma E42 Precision Firm Blender, and I love to use this on the lower lash line. So we'll see what it's gonna do. Yeah, it's a little like gray taupe shade. And this one seems to be like a normal formula, so it works. Yeah, I guess it works. This orange just doesn't really show up too much. But whatever, it's just gonna be like a soft look. Then I'm gonna use NYX glitter primer that I have to like really squeeze out because I don't have much of that left. And we'll see about the shimmers. Like, so far the start of this show is the first pink. That one has a nice pigmentation. The rest, I don't know if I like all of these shades or if I'm gonna really use them. I'm gonna have to try the brownie one, like the one that I tried to use in the outer corner. I'm gonna have to try to use that on its own before anything else, so that I know that if the problem with this shade is just the fact that you're supposed to use it first, or if it's just the fact that it's a bad shade. So now I'm gonna use this shimmery pink. This one I wouldn't mind if it was in the bigger pan, because you use more shimmers than mattes. If you do like a regular look, you're gonna go through the shimmers quicker, and especially the fact that you have such a small amount of shimmers, there's only 5 of them. I would prefer if all the shimmers were the bigger pans. Also because if you, especially if you use your fingers, like these small pans are kind of small and you might have a hard time actually fitting your finger there. Not to be like rude or anything, but it's okay. So this is more like an iridescent sparkly formula. I can work with that. That is completely okay for me. You know what, if it's in my Project 20 uses, I might use this palette mostly as like a face highlighter palette, because I don't know how well the mattes will perform. If they won't perform as well as I want them to, I might just use up the shimmers for my face. This is a really, really beautiful, sparkly, iridescent formula. So I do like that, and now I'm just sad that it's such a small pan. I'm gonna use this kind of like a goldy, beigey one right next to it in the in the first half of the lid. Oh, that one is super sparkly. I love that. That is a nice sparkle. Okay, so the shimmers so far really nice. They do feel comfortable on the lids. I don't really feel them at all. Both like putting them on and just wearing them so far, like I can't really feel them. So it's a very soft formula. It's very sparkly, looks beautiful. I think they're gonna look really nice even over deeper mattes. And as I said, it's gonna be nice for face highlight as well. Now I'm gonna use this last shimmer here, and this one is just like an iridescent inner corner shade, and I don't know if it flips to like a little bit of gold or green maybe. Okay, this one has kind of a slow start. Oh god, this one isn't sparkly, this one is satin. Okay, yeah, no, I don't like this. Let me try to build it up. No, I don't like this. I don't like satins. I just don't understand the purpose of them. So I'm gonna use the previous shade again in my inner corner, because that's what I like. That's what I want. I don't like these satins. I just don't understand the purpose of them, especially in the inner corner. That's where I want a lot of the sparkle to be centered around. So, nope. And I'm gonna take a smaller brush and I'm gonna use that satin shade under my brows. Here I don't really mind if it's not fully sparkly. So that I can at least show you properly how it looks like, because I do want to showcase that, it's just not really, you know. working the way that I would want it to. Okay. Yeah, it's just like a soft, it has a little bit of mintiness to it, I think. Okay, so this look is done. I'm gonna figure out something with like the lower lash line and everything. But we've been able to use half of the palette, so I'm gonna use the second half tomorrow. Okay, so here's the final look. I tried to kind of save it, and I think it's okay. I definitely do find it nice. The liner isn't equal, like it's not, sorry, it's not the same, like it's just, you know, it's just an idea, not a great execution. But honestly, I'm so hot right now. Like, it is such a insanely sunny day today, so I can't think properly and I can't focus properly apparently, and you know, it's just not really working for me. But so apart from the eyeshadows that I've used, I have this ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Amethyst Hour. I have my Panorama mascara from L'Oreal. I have this Super Stay concealer by Maybelline in the shade 10. I'm using this Glisten and Lindt water activated liner palette, and I have this red half of the heart shade, and yeah, I did like a liner here, which, you know, and then this little thing. I do like how, like, I like the idea of it. I would just need a little bit more time maybe to perfect the lines, and the red is kind of scary for me, so I always sweat and I'm just nervous whenever I use it. On my lips, I have this Udens Eye and Angelica Nico's Halloween lipstick. It was one from the whole bundle. I think there were like 5 or 6 maybe. And mine is the matte one in the shade Shadow Creature. It's kind of reddish one to match the liner. And also this one is one of my Project Pan products. As a blush, I'm mixing my 2D potted eyeshadows from my Christmas palette from Udens Eye. So this is called Ice Crystal from the Christmas Eve palette, and this is Gingerbread from the Merry Christmas, both from Udens Eye. And as a cheek highlighter, I have this Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette. I'm telling you, I can't think at all. And I'm using this bottom shade down here, which is called Pluto, which is kind of like a goldy highlighter. It's franken with another eyeshadow, but whatever. And I'm trying to use this one up because I do have very little of it left. And when it comes to the eyeshadows, I mean, I'm okay with this look. It's just, I was kind of expecting a little bit more maybe. I'm gonna have to try the squishy shade for sure. I feel like the only shade that you can actually see from the matte shades is the pink one. That one is actually really vibrant. Obviously, I covered a lot of it with the liner to just make it more interesting, but that's the only one that you can properly see on my face. Okay, so here's the second day of me trying this Palpitation, I hope that's how that's pronounced, palette from cheeryep. And I don't know what my hair are doing, but whatever. So we're gonna try it for the second time, see if I like it more than yesterday. I've already primed my lid with the Mega Last primer as yesterday, because I want to test if it was just these shades or if all of them will act the same way. And now my idea with this is I'm gonna use this darkest shade here in the outer part. I have these new Glaminatrix brushes. This one is EO2. So I'm picking up this kind of like brownie shade, and it looks like it's a regular matte, so it will pick up on the brush. So yeah, it's working. and it looks like there is a bit of pigment there. This shade isn't the darkest, or like it doesn't really look all that dark in the pan, so I'm not really expecting it to go super deep. So I think this is like a nice level of depth that we are getting out of it. But again, a lot of fallout, and these brushes are so soft, like you wouldn't even believe that there are any like strands of hair, whether it's synthetic or natural, because I don't actually remember which one they are, but it is so extremely smooth and silky. So like, if this is how much they disturb the eyeshadows, I don't know what it would do with like my natural bristle, like you know, like rougher brushes. I really don't know how it would fare with that. Now I'm gonna take this kind of like pistachio type of matte. It looks like a pretty light pastel-y green. We're just gonna use it over here, slightly blending out with that. Okay, so it has a little bit of color. It's nothing crazy, but it does have a bit of color. Now let's see if it's gonna last, because what I'm gonna tell you about yesterday's look, a couple hours, well, I think it was like 2 hours later, when I was kind of checking in the mirror to see how it looks like, you couldn't really see much of the mattes. Like, I was able to find where the pink was placed, but apart from that, there was nothing on my eyes. Like, it kind of disappeared. So yeah, I'm not completely sure what I think about this formula. Now I'm gonna use this beigey one just under the brows, because I don't know where else to put it. I don't really enjoy these shades all that much, and I never know what to do with them, because what are they supposed to do anyways? So yeah, it's just gonna be a little highlight over here, and I don't know if it's like light enough to be an inner corner highlight. I'll have to try that, but we're not gonna do that today because I have other plans. I don't know what I think about the way that these are performing. So now I'm gonna use this kind of light brown shade, and I'm using this EO8 from Glaminatrix, and the previous one that I was using was EO3. Just to let you know, I really like that they have this like kind of, I don't know if you can see, but here you can put your fingers. I usually don't do that because for me it's a little bit too close to the handle. I usually like to have my I usually like to hold it like at the end, but that's just personal preference, obviously. So let me kind of use this over here. If you struggle with too big of a pencil brushes and you still want to use eyeshadows on your lower lash line, but everything just feels too big, this is such a small little one. Like, I could create wings with this. Just such a small one, and it does work really nicely. This shade is strange because there are areas where it kind of has a different, almost like a yellowy tone to it, and it's kind of like patchy. So I'm gonna try this kind of more taupey shade in the outer part of the lower lash line to see how it's gonna look like. Again, it's slightly patchy, like it's dark and then it has like a white little patches in there. I don't understand this shade at all. Or maybe I just don't understand this formula. But I'm gonna take the inner corner brush. This one is EO5, and I'm gonna use this yellow because I want to see if it actually has a pigment. and we're gonna use that in the inner corners. And I love using these pale yellows in the inner corner because my inner corners are naturally pretty yellow, so it's almost like a neutral type of highlight. And this one looks nice so far. We'll see if it's gonna stay like this, because as I said yesterday, the shadows kind of lost their pigment. Like, I really layered them and made sure to like really pack them on, and then a couple hours later there was nothing on my face. So without touching it, without like paying any attention to it, it just on its own it disappeared. So this is a nice inner corner highlight. And now let's see the shimmer. So I'm gonna use my NYX glitter primer. Okay, so obviously we haven't tried these two shimmers, so I'm gonna start with this kind of more like seafoamy one in the first half of the lid. Hello, why am I not getting anything on the brush? Okay. Ooh, that is pretty. Okay, that is a nice little soft highlight. I think it would be better for the face because it has very, like, it doesn't have any base and it's just highlight, so I feel like it would be better on the face. I feel like it's slightly too sheer for an eyeshadow, at least for what I like. For me, like, I would still, and maybe if I had actually some kind of base underneath, something that would show up and wouldn't be my skin tone, maybe then it would make more sense. I don't know. Now I'm gonna use this kind of more like grass green, like yellowy green. Sorry. And I'm gonna put it right here. Hello. Okay, I can't really see much of a difference between these two shimmers. Like, they kind of look the same. This one just like has a little bit more of the yellow, but they are so similar on the eyes. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use my Dragon Eye by What's Up Beauty because it's my project level up, and I'm gonna use the shade Fierce because I actually have been meaning to use it one more time to see if I have a pan there, because I'm not completely sure if I do or not. And I'm gonna use that in the outer part, and then I'm gonna, like, you know, I just wanna see if we can make this look a little bit more interesting for me and give it that little bit of like yellow. And then I guess I'm gonna cover it with the previous shade that I've tried to put there, to, like, you know, so that it has the sparkle that it's supposed to have. I just need like a little bit of base because I feel like there isn't any base. Yeah, so this is the look. We've officially used all the shades, and I think apart from the inner corner shade, it is really light palette. I will have to use it with a white base to determine whether you actually can see any of these shades, because so far the only ones that actually like kind of work is the yellow, the pink, then the shimmers apart from this one. So that's what, 4-6 shades. I don't know, like, the thing is, even the darkest one of them, it's still kind of like desaturated and it almost doesn't look like anything on me. Like, I like more poppier colors, like a little bit more pigment. So yeah, I don't know if this is working for me. I'm gonna finish up the look and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm finished with the second look, and as you can see, I had to like kind of darken it up because it just felt like it's not me. So yeah, I kind of made it a little darker. with the liner and the lower lash line. And by the way, I noticed that especially in this inner corner, it's actually happening in both, but this one I think is the most obvious one. The inner corner shade is like patchy here. It's not even, and the texture is kind of off. So I don't know if you can see it on the other one, because this one is slightly better, but this one I feel like it is gonna show up on camera as well. So yes, kind of unsure about this palette and what I'm gonna do with it, but as I said, I'm gonna try it hopefully tomorrow with like a pastel, with a white base. Maybe that's gonna work better. But what I used to finish it, so I have my All Eyes on Me mascara from Essence. I have this Maybelline Superstay Concealer in the shade 10. I have the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Outer Space. It's this deeper one. Then I'm using the Glisten and Linz liner palette, and I've used the shade Cringe, this deeper kind of like inky color. So I just draw this little liner. And then what else am I wearing? I have these two shades as a blush. So this is Ice Crystal from the Christmas Eve palette by Woden's Eye, and this is Gingerbread from Merry Christmas from Woden's Eye. And I mixed those for a cheek, like a blush. And then I have the Salmon 2 by Woden's Eye, and I'm using the shade Starry Sky, this one, as a face highlighter, which is a really beautiful one. Oh, and on my lips I have this kind of lip oil, and it's the Woden's Eye and the glowy lipstick in the shade Creativity, and it's this kind of like yellowy orange lip oil. I don't know if they're marketed as lip oils or lip glosses, but it feels like a thicker oil. So that's that. And yeah, I'm very unsure about this palette and whether I'm gonna actually keep it, because I'm gonna have to try it a couple times. Well, hopefully at least once, and then we'll see if I'm still gonna have the same luck with it. I don't know, I'm gonna give it 2 more chances, and if it's not gonna get any better, I might just get rid of this one, which is kind of shame because I do like the color story. I think it's a really, really beautiful color story, and you know, like I love the packaging, I love the presentation, and I think it would be cool to have another brand that I can kind of play with and show you guys, but this just doesn't really, so far I'm not having the best time with it. So yeah, that's all that I can say. I do like this look a little bit more than I liked the yesterday's one, but I also think that it's because I have a little bit more time today, and I don't know, but I'm still not like super happy about this. Like I can get a look like this from a cheap drugstore palette, and this wasn't cheap drugstore. Like this was, I bought it on sale or with a coupon, I'm not sure, but it was still almost the same price as palettes that I buy on Monolith, and these are really, really good indie brands. So, you know, like if this was, I don't know, 3-4 euros for a Catrice palette, and it was this quality, I would say it's okay, it's fine, I can work with it, and I would keep it probably, because it would actually be like kind of okay for drugstore for that price. But for what I paid for it and for what it originally was supposed to be, I don't think I should struggle this much. I don't think I should struggle at all to use it. So yeah, we'll see if white base will fix that. Maybe they're just too pastel-y for me to use a regular primer. But if that's not gonna work, I don't think I'm gonna keep this. Maybe I just have a wrong palette, or maybe just this release wasn't as good and I should still keep trying and try to find a better palette from them. But definitely let me know down below, and I hope you've had a wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with another video. So bye.